Friends, we will study about hypothesis in this class. So, hypothesis, okay. Now, hypothesis comes after the objectives in the process. So, once objectives are set, problem is defined, we will go for hypothesis. Now, hypothesis is an assumption or a statement that may be true or false, okay. That may be true or may not be true, but we start with that statement and we try to test it whether it is true or not. Now, that is called as hypothesis. So, hypothesis is tested on the basis of information obtained from the sample. For example, you come to know that male only majority of the male watch cricket over female. Now, you may go for the study of this watching cricket, and then you may have hypothesis male watch more cricket than female. Now, you are not sure whether it is right or not, but you have this assumption, you are going to test it by going for data collection and all that. Now, that is called as hypothesis. So, these tests are done usually in business and industry and research for making decisions. Now, for example, new drug they found out and old drug is there. Now, they want to compare between these two and see which is effective. Now, they can have a hypothesis old or existing drug is better than new drug, or new drug is better than existing drug. This assumption they may have. Now, in having this hypothesis, we may either accept or reject the hypothesis. Now, in accepting and rejecting, there may be possibility of rejecting the right hypothesis and accepting the wrong hypothesis. Now, this is called as error. Okay. Now, see, there are it's called as type 1 and type 2 error. The type 1 error occurs when we reject the true null hypothesis. Now, let us look into null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis little later, but when we reject a true null hypothesis, it becomes type 1 error. It should not happen. If it will happen only when we do not have proper information, or our research carried out in not proper manner. Okay, so that is type 1 error, and this is measured by alpha. Okay, usually it is 5% or 1%. Now, type 2 error occurs when we don't reject the false null hypothesis, okay, or accept the null hypothesis. We don't use the word accept the null hypothesis, we don't reject it. Okay, that means it is accepted. So, we don't reject the null hypothesis, we should have been rejected. Okay, now going by the same example, if we take a new drug is effective than the old drug. Now, we have this hypothesis and we frame null and alternative hypothesis, and we say old existing drug is not good. Okay, actually it is good. Now, if that is the case, it is called as error. Okay, so now these errors we should reduce in research. For that, we should take proper care in selection of sample, statistical test, etc. Okay, next, one-tailed and two-tailed test. Okay, now I told I will tell about null and alternative hypothesis, that I will tell little later. Now, see, one-tailed and two-tailed test. Now, two-tailed test is appropriate if the estimated value is maybe more or less than the reference value. That is, for example, you take a vehicle. Vehicle is going to give a mileage of 20 kilometers per liter. Okay, now you can have a hypothesis, make my vehicle is giving 20 kilo, or Maruti vehicle is giving, Maruti Ritz is giving 20 kilometers of kilometers for 1 liter of petrol. Now, another hypothesis can be it is not giving 20 kilometers of hypothesis. Now, this is called as two-tailed test, that is, it may be either more than 20 or less than 20. And one-tailed test is appropriate if the estimated value may depart from the reference value in one direction only. Now, for example, same mileage if you look at, company says it will give 20 kilometers or more. Now, I want to test whether company vehicles are giving 20 kilometers or more only. I am not looking at 20 kilometers and less. Now, that is called as one-tailed test. So I am looking at vehicles which is giving more than 20 kilometers. So my hypothesis is null hypothesis is equal to not equal to 20, and alternative hypothesis is more than 20. Okay. Now examples vehicle I told mileage or speed or accuracy, product or quality service may be there. So this is one tailed and two tailed test. Okay. And null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis I told. Now I will go with the example. Null hypothesis is the hypothesis which we want to reject. Okay. Null, zero. Okay. No impact, no effectiveness. Okay, that is null hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis, usually research hypothesis which we want to prove. Okay, now see the example they have given. Soft drink company is filling 12 ml milliliter cans for a cola. Okay, the company hopes that cans average 12 ounces only, milliliter. Now, soft drink company is filling 12 ml cans with the cola. The company hopes that cans average only 12 kilometers, and they want to do a test of this. Okay, whether all the bottles of cola containing 12 ounce only, or less than that, or more than that. Now let us look at the hypothesis, null and alternative, one tailed and two tailed hypothesis here. Okay, yeah, one tailed test, one tailed and two tailed test. See, it is not displaying actually. So one tailed test, if we look at one tailed test, is now alternative null hypothesis is ounces. The Pepsi, the bottle, cola bottle have 12 ounces of uh, not 12 ounces of, less than 12 ounces of can. Okay, and alternative hypothesis is it's 12 milliliter. Okay, two tail test, as I told you earlier, it is 12 ounces or not 12 ounces. So list can be less than 12 ounces or it can be more than 12 ounces. That is called as two tailed test. So one tailed test and two tailed test. Now this is with regard to hypothesis. So in hypothesis we have studied null and alternative hypothesis. Null is rejected. Usually we want to reject that, and it is null. Okay. Alternative is research hypothesis, and one tailed and two tailed test we understood. Okay, I said one direction or both the directions. Then we understood type 1 error, type 2 error. Now another concept which comes into this is analysis. How do we do analysis? We do analysis in three ways. One is univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, multivariate analysis. Now univariate analysis means examine the distribution of the cases on only one variable at a time. For example, college graduation, you want to see just their mean of students age. Now that is called as, or mean of students mark. Now that is univariate, just mean you want to see, and standard deviation. Now bivariate is the examination of variables simultaneously. That is, you want to relationship between gender and college graduation. So how many of them female are going for college graduation, how many of the male are going for college graduation. Now that is bivariate analysis. Multivariate is more than two variables we are looking into. Now example, relationship between gender, race and college graduation. That is, how many females are going, and in that female, if you look at our system, the community, so how many class, I don't want to take race as an example, but class, if you see, economic class, higher class of the people and the lower class of the people, how many are going for college graduation. So that is multivariate. For each analysis, there are various tests available in statistics. Okay, now this is a complete description of test. T test is there, Z test is there, paired test is there. All this is just for your namesake, just to go through this particular slide, because this is all little advanced calculation with regard to test. Okay, as you, if you understand the basics of hypothesis and analysis, that is more than sufficient for this level. So thank you very much. Have a good learning. Thank you.